For those of you who missed the lesson on summaries, I'm going to very briefly explain what we did. In class, we read a text called Ostia Antica, and then we analyzed the question, and then we extracted information, and finally we made a summary. So firstly, we read the text, then we understood the question, we extracted information, and then we put it all together. Okay, so this is the question. Read carefully passage B, Ostia Antica below, and answer the following questions. And it asks you, what do you learn about the history of Ostia Antica and what it offers modern day visitors, according to passage B. So this is my little note here, my hint: highlight phrases or make short notes. So what are we looking for? We're looking for the history of Ostia Antica and what it offers modern day visitors. Now use your notes or highlighted phrases to write a summary of what passage B tells us once again about the history and what it offers modern day visitors. Now in an exam, you will not have these bold or underlined words. I've done this to help you as an introduction. You must use continuous writing and your own words. This is very, very important. Many of you do not use your own words. Your summary should not be more than 120 words. 10 marks are available for the content, in other words, the information you extract, and 5 marks are available for the quality, which is your grammar, your sentences, your spelling, and the continuity, how you put it together. All right, so let's read the passage. Ostia Antica. Ostia Antica, the location of the harbour city of ancient Rome, is a fascinating and under-visited archaeological site. Ostia Antica is not far from the centre of Rome and makes a pleasant half-day. Allow longer if you want to lunch there or are particularly interested in archaeology. To get there, take the suburban train line to Ostia from Pyramid Station. The train journey takes about 20 minutes. The archaeological area is close to the station over a footbridge. Although it is now 4 kilometers inland, Ostia was originally developed as a seaport prior to the silting up of the estuary of the river Tiber. Ostia increased in importance approximately 2,400 years ago, becoming a major naval and trading base. As Rome's port, the town had obvious commercial significance and expanded in size and grandeur to match this position. However, about 1,700 years ago, its place was taken by a new port at Fiumicino, and within the next couple of centuries, Ostia had begun its decline. The Tiber was no longer navigable, the roads were overgrown, and Ostia sank into muddy oblivion. Nowadays, much of the old town has been excavated, and visitors can wander and explore at will. A street plan can be obtained from the ticket kiosk. There's a lot to see. Major sites include the Roman Theatre, there are plays put on here in summer, the impressive Forum, a large bath complex, and several temples. Many of the buildings are preserved up to the 2nd story, giving a powerful sense of the past. There are also impressive mosaics and columns everywhere, but highlights include the smaller domestic details, the fishmonger's marble slab, the bar with its wares illustrated on the wall, the communal public toilets, the residential villas with peaceful courtyards. The old village of Ostia, with a papal fortress, is just down the road from the Roman town. Modern Ostia, Ostia Lido, is further away by the sea. It is a construction of modern apartment blocks and boulevards with little atmosphere and, thanks to high fences, not much of a sea view either. All right, now going back to the question, let's just go back to the question. You need to know about the history of Ostia Antica and what it offers modern day visitors. So you will see what I did here. I put a bright pink circle around history, and then I used green for what it offered. Whoopsie, it's supposed to be green. Let's take it to green. I made green for modern day visitors. Now, we are going to first of all look for the history. So we're going to highlight in pink. So we know that it was a seaport, that's originally. We know that it started silting up. We also know that this was about 2,400 years ago that it was this successful city. It became a major naval base and a trading base. That's history. It was the port that was Rome's port, so that was also history. And then it became bigger as it became successful. But 1,700 years ago, that's history in the past. It started to deteriorate because the river you couldn't go on the river anymore with boats because it was silted up. Silted means the mud became higher and higher and there was less water. And the roads were overgrown and it sunk into muddy oblivion, so it wasn't important anymore. We also know that there were Roman theatres, there was a forum, there were baths and temples, mosaics and columns. That's all to do with the history. Right, now we're going to go to green, and the green is for what it offers today, what it offers modern day visitors. So now we go and look for the green. We know that it's an archaeological site that people can visit. We know that you can explore it using a street plan. Now, the Roman theatre, the forum, the baths and the temples are still there. They may be ruined, but they're still there. So they are still attractions for modern day visitors. So you can see I put little green squares next to them. The same with the mosaics and the columns. There are also other things, domestic details. We don't have to say exactly what they are because remember, in a summary, you're not supposed to list things. Right, your next step is now to make a list of these things that you've got. So on this side, we've got the history. We know it's 2,400 years ago it was successful. It was a seaport, as well as a navy headquarters. It was a very important trading site. It was Rome's important port. It was large. These are the things we found there. 1,700 years ago, it started to decline because the roads were bad, the river silted up, and then it just kind of like became nothing. So that was the history. Then we listed the things that people can see today. The archaeological site, you can get a street plan. These are the things you will see there. And also there were columns. I actually left that out. I don't know why I left it out. Columns and mosaics. Let's see. Columns, mosaics. And also some domestic items. Now what we've got to do, we've got to put these items together to form compound or complex sentences. We don't want little simple sentences that are all choppy and your paragraph doesn't flow. So I decided that I could put together 2,400 years ago, it was a seaport, a naval center, and it was Rome's port. You could put those together. Then I said it was large because it was an important trading city and it had all of these things. You could put those together. And then you can say what happened in the more recent past. 1,700 years ago, the river silted up, the roads declined, and it went into oblivion. You must look here, you'll see this is still in their words. These are not my own words yet. What does it offer visitors? I decided to put all of those together. So, this is what I wrote. Ostia Antica was a naval harbour and Rome's main trading port 2,400 years ago. So I've used all of those. I could change this trading to business, my own word. It was a large and important city that included a theatre, forum, baths and temples. 1,700 years ago, Ostia Antica ceased to be an important centre when the Tiber River silted up and the roads became impassable, leaving it derelict. So I've used I've used 3 sentences, and there we are. Look, my yellow sentence, my green sentence, and my pink sentence. Then what does it offer visitors? Today, now I'm saying it's modern day, today it is an archaeological site of interest to tourists where they can get a street plan showing them where they can find the ruins of these historical buildings. So now I haven't mentioned the buildings again because I've already said them. I said they can find the ruins of these historical buildings. I'm referring back to these buildings here. In addition, there are, whoopsie, there should be a comma there. In addition, there are also several everyday utensils that are on exhibit and historical toilets and villas to see. And there we have, I think, about 120 words. So all you would do then, you would actually just put them together. And there's your summary. So now you know how to do it. The first thing you do is you're going to look at the question, what you learn about the history, and what it offers modern day visitors. You're going to read through the text. You're then going to decide, right, I've got a color for this, or you can use squiggly lines or straight lines, but some way of identifying your group. So I identified all the pink things, which were the history. I identified all the green things, which were modern day. I then made a list. I then combined those using these little links. And then I wrote and I changed it into my own words. So there you are. That is how you write a summary.